The excitement that Tyrese Haliburton's Game 1 buzzer beater provided the NBA Finals seemed like it might spark a surge of momentum into Game 2. But if fans were hoping for a dramatic continuation of the drama-filled showdown from the opening game, they were sorely disappointed. Sunday's Game 2 of the Pacers-Thunder Finals drew a notably low 8.76 million viewers on ABC, representing a staggering 29% drop from the 12.31 million who tuned in for the Mavericks-Celtics Game 2 a year earlier. This marks the least-watched Game 2 of the NBA Finals since the 2020 bubble era, when the Heat and Lakers squared off in a game during the fall of that year that coincided with an unprecedented global event, the hospitalization of the president due to COVID-19. The game drew just 6.78 million viewers, but outside of that unusual circumstance, Game 2 of this series marked the smallest audience since the 2007 Finals between the Cleveland Cavaliers and San Antonio Spurs, 8.55 m. To put this in perspective, only one other Game 2 in the Nielsen era, dating back to 1988, drew a smaller audience. That dubious distinction belongs to the 2003 Finals between the New Jersey Nets and San Antonio Spurs, which was played on a Friday night and attracted just 8.06 million viewers. This pattern of disappointing Finals viewership comes as a bitter surprise for many who anticipated the Pacers-Thunder matchup, especially following a thrilling Game 1 that featured Haliburton's heroic game winner and a dramatic late-game comeback. Even though the Pacers were able to pull off a shocking upset in Game 1, Game 2 played out far less dramatically. Oklahoma City's easy victory, in which they led by as many as 23 points, never really seemed in doubt, and the game lacked the intensity and late-game drama that made the first game so memorable. In fact, Game 2's peak audience of 9.90 million viewers, which occurred at the 9:45 p.m. ET quarter hour, paled in comparison to the Game 1 peak of 11.1 million viewers. That initial burst of excitement came as the Pacers mounted their dramatic comeback in the dying moments, only to see Haliburton ice the game with a shot that left the arena buzzing. Despite hopes that Game 2 would capitalize on the excitement generated by Haliburton's clutch performance, this game instead marked the first NBA Finals since 2020's bubble season where viewership actually declined from Game 1 to Game 2. In fact, it became just the third time since 2007 that the Finals viewership saw a dip between the first and second games of the series. A deeper look reveals that this marks the second time in NBA Finals history since the advent of the Nielsen People Meter era, 1988 present, where neither Game 1 nor Game 2 of the series crossed the 9 million viewer mark. The 2021 Bucks-Suns Finals, the 2007 Cavaliers-Spurs matchup, and the 2003 Nets-Spurs Finals all saw either Game 1 or Game 2 break through the crucial 9 million barrier. Yet this series between the Pacers and Thunder has thus far failed to reach this milestone in either of the opening two games. The stark ratings drop is particularly disheartening when you consider that the 2023 Finals are undeniably outpacing the competition on television. Despite the decline, Game 1 and Game 2 still stand as the most-watched TV events since the first week of May. In fact, Game 2 still managed to pull in an audience that was 50% larger than the next most-watched program of the weekend. In contrast, the 2007 Cavaliers-Spurs Game 2 faced a steep viewership battle with The Sopranos finale on HBO, which dominated the airwaves. For that game, the Finals audience suffered in comparison, further underscoring just how rare these subpar ratings have become. It's clear that the ratings woes of the Pacers-Thunder series are far from unique to basketball. In fact, they seem to parallel the low viewership figures from the 2021 World Series between the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. That series saw a significant dip in audience from Game 1 to Game 2, with Game 1 topping out at 9.17 million viewers before plummeting to just 8.13 million for Game 2. The drop didn't fully recover until the Game 5 finale, which brought in a much healthier 11.45 million viewers. This trend of early struggles followed by a slight recovery is certainly something NBA officials and the broadcast networks will keep an eye on as the finals continue to unfold. One of the more puzzling aspects of this final series, however, is how much more exciting the matchup seemed on paper than it has been in practice.